Boyfriend, 18M, told me to eat pineapple after going down on me, 18F, for the first time. To preface this, I have been dating my boyfriend for almost 8 months now, and I truly do love him. He is extremely sweet, and although we have had rough patches in the past, we are always able to move past them. I don't want to give up on our relationship. We have been intimate for, I'd say, like 5 months. We were both virgins going into this relationship, so both of us were extremely inexperienced. Although he was always more pushy to have sex. This probably explains why he's never made me orgasm. I guess he just doesn't know how to, and doesn't really engage in foreplay. He has fingered me before, but he enjoys sex way more and doesn't finger me if we're having sex. We've never gone down on each other. For the last few weeks, I could tell that he was considering it, but he never actually did it. I was, admittedly, self-conscious and scared. When he tried today, he did 2 licks, came up, and said, "I'm never doing that again unless you ask me to." He then proceeded to get up and ask for water, use napkins to dab his tongue, inspected his tongue in the mirror, and, finally, when he got back in bed with me, he asked me what I had ate for dinner yesterday night. I told him what I had ate, and then he told me that I should have had pineapple instead. IDK. I kind of just shut down after that, and he went on his phone and I cried. He didn't notice. He noticed that I was acting weird and asked me why I wasn't talking mad at him. But I just felt so embarrassed and dirty that I just didn't tell him. I just felt like an overwhelming wave of sadness take over me because he was that repulsed. I don't think that I'm necessarily unhygienic. OFC. Genitals have a smell, but from what I know, they're supposed to. I shower every single day and wash down there with water in the shower. I wear cotton undies. I drink plenty of water. And there wasn't an excessive amount of discharge today. What does a normal, healthy smell? I don't shave, but that's because my skin down there is super sensitive and I'd rather save myself the itching and redness that comes after. What can I do to assuage my sadness? How do I approach this situation with my boyfriend? TLDR. Boyfriend went down on me for the first time and told me I smell. And now I feel extremely embarrassed and ashamed. Edit. Whoa guys. Tism for the input and support. I just logged on after 8 hours and I'm truly so grateful and overwhelmed by the amount of warmth this community has given. I'm trying my best to sift through these comments and not miss a single one. I will definitely sit him down later and have a talk with him. For a little bit of context, I had literally just woken up in the morning and I definitely was not sweaty. None of us showered beforehand, but I showered the night before. My boyfriend isn't disrespectful to women at all. He lives in a household of women, and although I have heard him tolerate others' misogynistic jokes, it's more because he is extremely non-confrontational and doesn't think it's worth it to get into an altercation. I'm going to be crass. What does your boyfriend imagine his penis or semen tastes like? He sounds like a boring, inconsiderate lover and just overall rude. He didn't just tell you, "You smell." He, 1. Immediately told you, "Never again." 2. Needed to cleanse his palate with water, because it was so foul to him. 3. Needed to soak up the excess juices with a napkin. 4. Physically look at his tongue, to ensure it wasn't permanently altered. 5. Told you it was your fault. 6. Royce, did your diet consist purely of pineapple? He's an asshole, and he should not make you go through such an ordeal for trying something new. I urge you to reconsider staying with him. Added on to that, he was pushy to have sex, doesn't engage in foreplay, and doesn't engage you in multiple ways than just PIV. Not only does he sound like a bad stereotype of a virgin, he isn't interested in you. He's interested in what you give him. If you're serious about staying with him, I suggest having a serious talk with him about changing his behavior. When you do this, the onus is not on him to change his behavior. It's on you to reinforce that boundary. If he does not do X, you will do Y. That isn't a threat. It's a self-accountability thing. It's not, I'll break up with you if you don't finger me. It's, I've asked you to treat me better, and you're actively refusing to. And then simultaneously, I'm deciding whether or not I'd like to stay in this situation. If his refusal to change acceptable to me, stay. Or not, break up. Return him. You got a faulty one. I'm sorry. I know you said you want to stay with him, but he sounds insufferable. And shockingly lacking in empathy and sensitivity. Not to mention consideration for you. Oh, he doesn't like foreplay? Then he shouldn't get sex from you. Period. Letting him get away with that level of selfishness is actually enabling and encouraging that selfishness. And his histrionics over your taste was repulsive. You said he was extremely sweet, but this all sounds like the behavior of a massive jerk. Especially ignoring, not noticing you when you cried and making an immature show of things. You can do so much better. Your BF is a dweeb, get a new one who actually likes pussy. He's a selfish lover. Does he have to go down on you? No. But that doesn't mean he gets to neglect your sexual needs and insult you. He doesn't understand how the human body works. And that's obvious. He was a virgin. What does he know anything about sex? Take his words with a grain of salt, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought the pineapple R thing was more for guys and semen? Your boyfriend should be your ex, because no one who actually loves and respects their partner talks to them like he talked to you. He sounds immature and like he shouldn't even be having sex in the first place, since he doesn't know how the female body works. And he likely has never made you orgasm because he doesn't care if you orgasm. He just wants to use you as a fleshlight and call it a day. I'm gonna be real with you. He's a little boy. He needs to grow up and discover that's what a vagina tastes like. Sorry he made you feel bad. There's nothing wrong with you. He told you to eat pineapple? Why don't you tell him to learn how to give head so you orgasm? Goes both ways. Your boyfriend just doesn't know what a healthy vagina is supposed to smell, taste like. He probably has ideas of it because of social media. He's crass and rude, and if he speaks to you this way about sex, I can only imagine how he talks to you in general. I can't believe what I just read. I am so sorry you had this experience. I agree with comments calling your partner selfish. However, I will say that part of this is likely because he's 18 and inexperienced. It might not have been malicious. More tactless. This was absolutely not the way to approach the situation, and I would urge both of you to sit down and have a mature conversation about this. Real life is not porn. You don't have to shave down there, and unless you feel like you don't smell like you, your body is probably perfectly normal. You can get bacterial infections that can cause weird smells, etc., but it doesn't sound like you have that. I would ask him to read some articles about women if he is uncomfortable talking to you about it. But his approach was callous and immature at a minimum. You are not dirty and you should not feel embarrassed. Edit. Changed a sentence and took out some redundancy. Feel free to DM me if you want to chat about all of this stuff. He is making you insecure so you won't ask or expect no oral from him. He does it deliberately. Do the same when he wants a blowjob. Www. When have you washed your wiener? It smells like old cheese. He is just plain rude. I'm so sorry he responded that way. If you are following basic hygiene rules, Great job on the cotton undergarments. BTW. Then there is absolutely nothing wrong with how your vulva tastes. It's skin, not a sundae. I had the misfortune of also dating someone when I was younger who made a big deal about performing oral sex, and it made me extremely self-conscious about how I smelled, tasted, to the point that I had a very hard time enjoying it with future partners because I couldn't get past my insecurity. I was fortunate to have some great partners that showed me how normal oral sex, and there's nothing wrong with me. And now I'm with a person who has zero hesitation. It's a much different experience and I enjoy it. But it took me a long time to get here because that first person's remarks were so damaging. If you can, because it was both of your first times, I would try to have an open conversation with your boyfriend about oral sex and make it educational for you both, so he can adjust his expectations and learn how to be a better partner. If he cannot get past his aversion, I would reconsider the relationship because your self-confidence isn't worth it. And you deserve to enjoy your sexual experiences with giving partners. Ignore your BF. And maybe dump him. It's okay to not want to do oral. It is not okay to do what he did. With the big disgust showing. Vaginas don't smell or taste like candy. And they never will, unless you use flavored lube. A healthy vagina has a natural musk. It shouldn't smell like fish. Typically indicates BV, or bread, beer. Yeast infection sometimes can have a copper tang. You're either close to period or on period. For me, and some female friends who were curious, a healthy vagina typically tastes starchy. Think raw potato. Sometimes it can taste like certain things we eat, but not always. While shaving does help with the musk, you don't have to go fully bare. You could keep the hair short by trimming and still reduce musk lingering. I hate to tell him that the same goes for men. Face with rolling eyes. This includes shaving. Men typically have a stronger musk, provided they're hygienic. Healthy sperm typically tastes salty, but can be bitter. Think super strong mushrooms. It can also have little to no taste. Taste a little like chlorine or taste sweet. Fruit consumption mainly pineapples. Person shrugging. I've been with guys who didn't shave, who trimmed, and who have shaved. I've tasted all the above listings. I've been with guys whose smell made me gag, whose sperm was thin like saliva, and one dude's who was legit chunky. Thank God he didn't blow in my mouth. Don't feel bad because your boyfriend is an ass. You're probably perfectly normal as you are. Dump him. 18 is way too young to entertain obnoxious guys if you can't even sit on their face to make them silent. No mouth face. You're telling me this boy 1. Pressured you into sex in the first place, 2. Had 5 months worth of intimacy with you and hasn't bothered to bring you to climax, 3. Doesn't stimulate you digitally during sex, 3. Basically threw a histrionic fit when he tasted pussy for the first time and did everything he possibly could to make sure you knew he didn't find it to his liking, 4. Thinks he can demand you change your diet because he thinks vulvas should taste of what? Candy? Pussy tastes like pussy and it's supposed to. 0 tenths. Would not allow this man-child access to your body or life ever again. Throw the whole guy away and run for the hills. You're 18 years old. You have your entire life to find someone who cares about your pleasure in addition to their own. Boys like this one are a dime a dozen and you deserve so much better. You and your vulva aren't the problem here at all, he is. I'm shocked no one's explained the truth to you yet. Your boyfriend simply is selfish. You don't smell, taste bad. It's called negging. He makes you so insecure about it. You'll never ask him to do it again and boom. He wins. You'll continue to have sex with him, without him putting in any effort for you to enjoy yourself. You're young and it's your first sexual experience. This ain't normal or okay. dump his sorry ass.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.